and we're shading above it. Okay? So if the vertex did not shift anywhere, then the vertex is still located at the origin 0, 0. Your slope says to move up 4 units and then out 1 in both directions, which puts me at 1, 4 and negative 1, 4. We said because it simply says greater than, then it's a broken line going through those points. And since we are shading up, okay, imagine that you've got someone sitting right here. Where would his head be? His head would be there, his feet would be there. Okay? So up is above the heads, which would be inside the function. They're on a broken seesaw. Number 28. Okay? Shifts in the graph are found by adding or subtracting to it. Okay? If I add or subtract to the x inside the brackets, is that a horizontal shift along the x-axis or a vertical shift along the y-axis? It's along the x-axis. The change is being made to x, so it's along the x-axis. But remember, we always use what sign? The opposite sign. So this is a shift to the right 1 unit. This is a shift down 2 units, right? So my vertex is actually here. Is there a negative sign in front? No, so it's still opening up. Has there been a number put in front of the x or in front of the brackets? No, so your slope is still 1. So from your vertex, you go up 1 and over 1 in both directions. What kind of line? Not dotted. And where are we shading? Up, which would be inside of it. Okay? Yes? I will try to get it on YouTube. It's just to help us understand what's up and what's down. Because as your line gets steeper and steeper, it's like, okay, well, what's above? See what I'm saying? Because if I say greater than, this looks almost like a vertical line, and greater than is on this side, but some of us may look at it as a vertical line and say, wait, but that's a negative direction, because we're thinking along the x-axis instead of along the y-axis. So just to simply help us identify, as I said, imagine that this is a seesaw, okay? And where it crosses the y-axis is where it's stuck in the ground. So if you've got kids sitting on the seesaw, where is their head going to be? No, I don't need to. No, we don't need to draw little people. It helps us identify which side to shade. Because if we know where their head is, then up is above their head. No. And if we know where their feet is, then down would be where their feet are. Okay? A vertical line, you go left or right. If it's perfectly vertical, greater than is to the right. Less than is to the left. Okay? All right. This problem first thing we had to do was rewrite it and put it in the correct form. Okay? Y, and then your inequality symbol. I have plus the absolute value of x. I need to move that to the other side, so I'm going to say minus the absolute value of x, which gave me this. Okay, it's an absolute value function, so I know that it looks like a v. Let's just start at the beginning. What does a minus sign in front do? It flips it upside down. There's no slope here, so my slope is understood to be this. I haven't changed the x any, so there's no left or right shift. But I have added a constant. That's sort of like your y-intercept. It's telling you how to move on the y-axis, just like in a line. So my vertex has moved up 3 units from the origin. Okay? My slope is 1 to 1, but it's going down. So instead of going up 1 and out, I go down 1 and out in both directions. Because the inequality is simply less than, the lines going through those points are broken. Okay? And again, if we imagine someone sitting on the edges of those lines, their heads would be here, their feet would be down here, correct? Head and feet, just to help us identify what's up and what's down. We need to shade below. So our shading would be in this region. And that was the next one, whatever that one was. All right? Okay. Let's talk about what you need to know for your test tomorrow. In your journals, we took a 5-minute checkup on lesson 1.2. I think there were 6 questions. You need to look at those 6 questions. 1 or 2 of those questions will be on your test. Okay?
Which 1 or 2?
Well, I'm not telling you. In your journals, when we do our 5-minute checkups at the beginning of the class, and we say over what lesson, you're supposed to put lesson whatever. Okay, go to the one that was over lesson 1-2. There were 6 questions on that one. I'm going to pull 1 or 2 of those questions from that those specific questions.
Wait, 1, 2, or 2?
1, 2. This is old stuff. Chapter 1, section 2. All right? On page 100 in your book, you have a list of vocabulary words. And there's about 70 of them. You don't have to know all 70 of them. Underneath the list, there's a little section that says fill in the blank or select the best choice or something like that. And there are 8 questions. They're vocabulary questions. Be able to answer those 8 questions. I'm going to pull some of those for the test. Okay? Possibly all of them. Because it's a quick answer that makes the number of questions more, which means makes the value of each question less. Understand? Okay. From chapter 2, and I know we already tested on this, but you need to be able to use your slope formula. I will give you 2 points, and you'll have to tell me what the slope is. I'm not going to have a bunch of questions on those, just 1 or 2. Just to make sure we still know how to do it. Be sure that you can transform equations from one form to another. If I give you the equation of a line in standard form and I ask you to put it in slope-intercept form, you need to be able to do that. That's simply moving stuff over. That's all it is. If I give you something in point-slope form and tell you to put it in standard form, you need to be able to do that.